You can be surrounded by people and still feel deeply alone. Not the dramatic kind of loneliness, the quiet kind, the kind that doesn't announce itself. It shows up when your phone is full of notifications, but none of them feel personal. When conversations stay polite, safe, surface level. When you laugh at the right moments, say the right things, and still feel unseen. This kind of loneliness is confusing because from the outside, your life looks connected. Friends, family, work, social spaces. Nothing appears broken. So instead of questioning the connection, you question yourself. You wonder why you feel empty when you should feel grateful. Why something feels missing when nothing is technically wrong. But this loneliness isn't a flaw in you. It's a signal that your life is full of interaction, but short on resonance. That you're present everywhere except where you can actually be known. And when that feeling goes unnamed, it doesn't disappear. It settles in quietly and waits. You can be around people all day and still feel completely alone. Messages come in, conversations happen, faces are familiar. Yet something essential is missing. That's because presence is not the same as connection. Most interactions today stay on the surface. We talk about plans, work, jokes, distractions, but rarely about what's actually happening inside us. Not because we don't want to, but because slowing down enough to be real feels risky. So we stay busy instead. We stay agreeable. We stay fine. And over time, being surrounded by people who don't truly see you can feel more isolating than being alone. Because loneliness isn't the absence of others, it's the absence of being understood. This is where many people quietly start to feel invisible, not ignored on purpose, just never fully met. And when that goes on long enough, you begin to wonder if something is wrong with you, when in reality, the connection itself was never deep enough to hold who you really are. Most people don't hide because they're dishonest. They hide because they learned, slowly, quietly, that being fully seen can cost you something. A comment that didn't land well, a feeling that was dismissed, a moment of vulnerability that changed the way someone looked at you. So, you adapt. You share less. You soften your opinions. You present the version of yourself that feels safest in the room. Over time, this emotional armor becomes automatic. You're not pretending, you're protecting. But there's a cost to that protection. The more of yourself you keep hidden, the harder it becomes to feel truly connected. People can only meet the parts of you that you allow them to see. And when they connect with that filtered version, the loneliness deepens. Because they're close to you, but not to you. This isn't weakness, it's a survival strategy shaped by past experiences. The problem is, what once kept you safe may now be the very thing keeping you alone. There's a fear many people carry that they rarely say out loud. Not the fear of being rejected, but the fear of being forgettable. Of realizing that if you stopped reaching out, the messages might slow down, the invitations might stop, and life would quietly continue without you. so you stay available. You respond quickly. You give more than you ask for. Not because you're needy, but because being needed feels safer than being optional. Over time, this creates a silent imbalance. You're present, attentive, supportive, yet still unsure where you truly stand, and that uncertainty becomes exhausting. This fear doesn't come from ego. It comes from moments where your presence wasn't acknowledged, where your effort felt invisible, where you learned that closeness could disappear without explanation. So you try to secure your place by being useful, agreeable, easy to keep around. But real connection isn't built on proving your value. It's built on being valued without performance. And until that distinction is felt, the fear doesn't scream, it quietly lingers. Real connection doesn't begin with being more interesting, or more available, or more understanding than you already are. It begins when you stop performing for closeness. Most people think connection is built by doing more listening, more giving, more accommodating. But that often creates proximity, not intimacy. Intimacy starts when effort is no longer one-sided. It's when you can speak honestly without rehearsing, when silence doesn't feel like rejection, when you don't feel the urge to earn your place. Real connection requires mutual presence, not just someone hearing you, but someone staying when nothing is being offered. It requires discomfort, because being seen means risking misunderstanding, and being honest means letting go of control. That's why many connections stay shallow. Depth asks for courage from both sides. Connection also requires boundaries, not walls, but clarity about what you will no longer trade for closeness. And most importantly, real connection requires patience, because it doesn't happen in intensity, it happens in consistency, in how someone shows up when nothing is exciting. When connection is real, you don't feel anxious about losing it. You feel steady inside it. Relearning closeness doesn't start with other people. It starts with how safe you feel being yourself. When connection has disappointed you enough times, your nervous system learns to stay guarded, even when you want closeness. So the first step is not opening up more. It's slowing down enough to notice where you've been bracing. Closeness grows when you stop forcing chemistry and start choosing emotional steadiness. It's in small moments, speaking one honest sentence instead of 10 careful ones. Pausing instead of over-explaining, letting yourself be present without managing the outcome. Relearning connection also means accepting that not everyone can meet you where you are, and that's not a failure, it's information. You don't need to be understood by everyone, you need to be understood by the right few. As you practice this, something shifts. You stop chasing intensity, you stop fearing silence, you stop confusing attachment with closeness, and slowly, connection begins to feel less like pressure and more like rest. That's when you know you're relearning it the right way. Not urgently, not desperately, but honestly. Closeness doesn't need to be loud to be real, it just needs to feel safe enough to stay.